There is a secret I want you to know. Happiness is not something that comes when conditions are perfect. It is not waiting for you in the future when you have more money or when you finally solve all your problems. Happiness is created in this moment by choice, by effort, and by attitude. Many people live their lives waiting for a miracle to appear before they allow themselves to smile. But the truth is simple. The miracle is you and your ability to decide right now that happiness will be your companion no matter what life gives you. Most people are trapped in the illusion that happiness is something to be received only after conditions are perfect. They believe that once the bills are paid, once the promotion is secured, once the relationship is repaired, then happiness will finally walk into their lives. They treat it like a distant prize waiting on a mountaintop. But the truth is different. Happiness is not a prize, and it is not a destination. It is a discipline. Just as a farmer must cultivate the land and sow seeds if he hopes for a harvest, you too must cultivate your thoughts and sow gratitude if you wish to enjoy happiness. It is not handed to you by chance. It is built daily by choice. Think about the way you build physical strength. If you go to the gym once, you will not suddenly transform your body. It takes repeated training, persistence, and discipline. You push yourself to lift weights, to run further, to test the limits of your endurance. Over time, your body changes. Strength grows, stamina improves, and health is renewed. The same principle applies to happiness. You cannot simply wake up one day and expect it to flood your life without effort. You must train your mind just as you train your body. You must direct it, discipline it, and guide it toward the thoughts that create joy. Every morning when you wake, life gives you a choice. You can open your eyes and think of all that is lacking, or you can open your eyes and think of all that is present. You can focus on the obstacles, or you can focus on the opportunities. Happiness begins in that very moment, in the choice you make. When you say to yourself, "Today I choose to be happy," you are commanding your subconscious to work in your favor. You are planting the seed of a good harvest. The day may still bring challenges, but your mind has already been conditioned to search for light even in darkness. Consider the habit of gratitude. When you deliberately focus on what is good in your life, no matter how small, you are strengthening the muscle of happiness. The roof over your head, the food on your table, the breath in your lungs, each is a reminder that you have more blessings than you realize. And the more you focus on them, the more your mind learns to see them. It is impossible to remain in despair when gratitude fills your thought. Gratitude is the daily exercise that shapes the mind for joy. Now I must tell you this. Happiness is not about denying pain. Life will test you. You will face disappointment, loss, and difficulty. Discipline does not remove hardship. What it does is give you the ability to stand tall when hardship arrives. The undisciplined mind collapses under pressure, but the trained mind remains steady. Just as an athlete who has trained for years does not break when a new challenge arises, a person who has practiced the discipline of happiness does not lose themselves when storms appear. They bend, but they do not break. Imagine two people facing the same setback. One has never trained his thoughts. He believes happiness comes only when things are easy. The moment difficulty comes, he falls into despair, anger, and hopelessness. The other person has trained her mind daily. She has built the habit of gratitude and optimism. When the same setback arrives, she acknowledges the pain but refuses to surrender to it. She chooses to focus on solutions, on lessons, on the possibility that something better may emerge. Which of these two people will continue forward with power? The answer is clear. Happiness as a discipline creates resilience. You cannot wait for happiness to arrive. You must practice it now. Just as a student cannot wait until the day of the exam to start studying, you cannot wait until life is easy to learn joy. Begin today. Begin with the small things. Smile at the morning sun. Appreciate the taste of your breakfast. Thank the people who serve you in daily life. Each of these moments is a repetition in the gym of the mind. Each small act strengthens the discipline of happiness. And let me remind you, discipline always demands effort. It is far easier to complain than to be grateful. It is far easier to dwell on the negative than to search for the positive. But if you always choose the easy road, you will never experience the heights of true fulfillment. Discipline is not meant to be easy, but it is meant to be rewarding. When you train your mind to choose happiness daily, eventually it becomes second nature. You no longer have to force it because your mind has been conditioned. So push yourself to build this discipline. Do not wait for permission from life to be happy. Do not wait for the world to change. Decide now. Train now. Each day you do so, you create a foundation of joy that no circumstance can shake. Happiness is not a reward waiting at the end of your journey. It is the strength you carry with you as you walk the journey itself. Life will never run out of reasons for you to feel defeated. The bills will keep coming, responsibilities will never fully disappear, and challenges will show up uninvited. People around you may fail to support you, doors may close, and plans may fall apart. If you sit and wait for everything to line up perfectly before you allow yourself to be happy, then happiness will always remain beyond your reach. The truth is this: you must push against your own excuses because the excuses are the most convincing obstacles you will ever face. It is easy to say, I cannot be happy today because I am tired. I cannot be happy today because I do not have enough money. I cannot be happy today because people have treated me unfairly. And every one of those statements can feel true, but the more you repeat them, the more you chain yourself to unhappiness. Excuses sound logical, they sound comfortable, and they give you permission to stay where you are. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Happiness cannot be built inside excuses because excuses keep you still, while happiness demands forward motion. Think for a moment about the man who refuses to exercise because he says he does not have time. Day after day, he repeats the excuse. Does time suddenly appear? No. What happens is his health declines, his energy decreases, and his problems multiply. The same is true with happiness. If you wait for the perfect time, if you tell yourself the excuse that today is too difficult, you will find yourself trapped in the same cycle of disappointment tomorrow and the day after that. The only way to break free is to push against that excuse and act in spite of it. The mind will always whisper reasons to delay joy. It will say, be happy tomorrow when things are better, but tomorrow becomes the next day, and the next day becomes next month, and suddenly years pass while happiness remains out of reach. You must interrupt that cycle with a decision. You must say, I hear the excuse, but I refuse to obey it. Happiness is mine today, not when conditions are perfect, not when everything is solved, but today. When you push yourself beyond your excuses, something remarkable happens. You discover strength you did not know you had. You prove to yourself that joy is not controlled by circumstances, but by your will. That proof builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Soon the excuses grow weaker because you no longer believe them. You have experienced the truth that happiness is possible even on the hardest days, and that truth makes you unstoppable. Let me give you a picture. Two people face the same storm. One listens to his excuses. He says, it is raining, I cannot move forward, I cannot smile, the world is against me. So he stands still, drenched and miserable, waiting for the storm to end. The other person hears the same storm but pushes past the excuses. She says, yes, it is raining, but I will keep moving. Yes, it is difficult, but I will keep going. And as she moves, she discovers the rain is not as heavy as it seemed. The storm does not control her spirit because she has chosen to rise above it. Which of these two do you want to be, the one who is mastered by excuses or the one who masters them? Every excuse is a wall, but every wall has a door. That door is your choice. It will never swing open on its own. You must push it, and when you push through, you step into freedom. Do not think that freedom means no problems. It means you are no longer enslaved by your problems. It means you hold power over your attitude no matter what life gives you. You must remind yourself daily that excuses are easy, but happiness is earned. It is earned through courage. It is earned by refusing to bow to negativity. It is earned by saying, I will not allow the outer world to dictate my inner world. Yes, there will be difficulties, but you can still decide to live with a smile, with gratitude, and with determination. That is pushing yourself beyond excuse. That is where real happiness begins. So the next time you wake up and the mind whispers, not today, answer with conviction. Tell yourself, today is the only day I have, and I will make it count. Push yourself to rise, to walk, to smile, even when every excuse tells you not to. For when you defeat excuses, you defeat the greatest thief of happiness, and you unlock a strength that no obstacle can take away. One of the greatest truths about happiness is that it cannot exist without a sense of purpose. A drifting soul may experience moments of pleasure, moments of comfort, but lasting joy will always escape it. Happiness is not found in endless leisure or in the aimless pursuit of comfort. It is found in the fire of knowing why you are here and what you are meant to give. Without that direction, the heart grows restless, the mind grows unsettled, and life begins to feel like a burden rather than a gift. Every morning when you rise, you are given a new chance to decide how you will live the hours ahead. If you rise with no vision, no plan, no aim, then the hours control you instead of you controlling them. You drift from one distraction to another, always chasing small bursts of satisfaction, but never touching the deeper joy that comes from fulfillment. But when you wake with purpose, when you declare, "I will live this day with meaning," suddenly even the simplest tasks carry weight. Washing the dishes, speaking to a friend, doing your work, each becomes a step on a larger path. Purpose transforms suffering. Think of the worker who labors in the field without knowing why. Each swing of the tool feels heavy. Every hour feels wasted. Now think of the worker who labors in the same field but knows the harvest will feed his family. The work is just as hard, but the meaning changes everything. The sweat becomes honorable, the struggle becomes worthy, and even exhaustion carries satisfaction. That is the power of purpose. It does not erase pain, but it gives you a reason to endure it. Ask yourself the question most people never stop to ask. Why am I here? What is the reason behind the life I live each day? What do I want to contribute to this world before my time ends? This is not an easy question, but it is the question that awakens happiness. Because the moment you discover your purpose, you hold a compass that no storm can break. Others may lose their way, but you will keep walking with direction. Purpose does not have to be grand in the eyes of the world. Do not think you must be a leader of nations or a creator of great inventions to live with meaning. Purpose can be as simple as raising a child with love, serving your community with kindness, building a business with honesty, or inspiring others with your words. What matters is not the scale of your purpose, but the sincerity of it. When you know your why, the size does not matter, because joy flows from alignment, not recognition. Those who wander without purpose often fill the emptiness with distraction. They chase possessions, entertainment, and constant stimulation. But each pleasure fades quickly, leaving behind the same emptiness. They ask, "Why am I not happy even when I have so much?" It is because happiness is not bought, it is earned through meaning. Without a sense of contribution, without a vision greater than yourself, life becomes hollow no matter how many pleasures you gather. When you align with purpose, even the challenges that once discouraged you begin to serve you. Every difficulty becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes training. Every delay becomes preparation. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "How is this shaping me for my purpose?" That shift in perspective brings strength, and with strength comes happiness. For happiness is not the absence of trials, it is the presence of meaning in the midst of trials. Imagine waking each morning with a mission clear in your mind. You know what you are building, what you are working toward, and what impact you want to leave. Even when the day is long, you feel alive. Even when things go wrong, you feel steady. That is the life of someone living on purpose, and that is a life where happiness cannot be shaken. If you want to push yourself to be happy every day, even when life is hard, you must discover and embrace your purpose. Begin asking yourself, what do I value most? What would I fight for? What would I give my energy to even if no one applauded me? The answers to these questions reveal the path of meaning. Once you find it, walk it daily. Shape your choices, your thoughts, and your actions around it. Let it guide you through both calm days and stormy nights. For happiness without purpose is like a boat without a rudder. It drifts aimlessly, carried by every current, but happiness with purpose is like a ship with sails set and compass steady. No matter how rough the sea becomes, it continues to move forward. And that is the kind of happiness that endures. Happiness does not exist in isolation. It is shaped and influenced by the environment you allow yourself to live in. You cannot expect to build joy and strength while standing in the middle of constant negativity. The soil you plant yourself in will either feed your spirit or drain it. Just as a healthy tree cannot grow in poisoned ground, a healthy mind cannot thrive in an environment filled with complaints, criticism, and despair. You must guard your surroundings with care, for they will determine whether your pursuit of happiness becomes easier or harder. Look closely at the people who share your time. Are they lifting you up, or are they pulling you down? Are they filling your mind with possibility or with doubt? Every conversation plants seeds in your subconscious. A word of encouragement becomes a seed of courage. A constant complaint becomes a seed of hopelessness. And over time, those seeds grow roots. If you are not careful, you may find yourself carrying burdens that are not even yours, simply because you allowed others to pour their negativity into your spirit. This does not mean you should reject people or close yourself off from the world. It means you must be deliberate. Choose carefully who you allow to influence your thinking. If someone's presence always leaves you feeling drained and discouraged, be mindful of how much time you give them. On the other hand, if someone challenges you to rise higher, to think bigger, to believe in yourself, treasure that influence, for it is rare and powerful. Your happiness will always reflect the company you keep. The environment is not only about people, it is also about what you consume daily. Think of the books you read, the music you listen to, images and words that fill your mind through television or social media. These too shape your environment. If you constantly feed on negativity, on conflict, on fear, do not be surprised when your mind produces anxiety and hopelessness. But if you fill your environment with knowledge, inspiration, and ideas that expand your vision, your thoughts will naturally rise to a higher plane. Guard your environment as you would guard a treasure chest. Do not allow just anything to enter, because what enters will shape you. Protect your morning with intention. Begin the day not with the chaos of the world, but with words, sounds, or thoughts that lift your spirit. Protect your evenings as well, for they shape the quality of your rest. Surround yourself with reminders of your purpose, with people who encourage you, with content that strengthens your will. These are the walls that will protect the flame of happiness when the winds of difficulty blow. Consider the power of association. A person who spends time among ambitious thinkers begins to dream bigger. A person who spends time among complainers begins to complain more. Without realizing it, you adopt the tone, the energy, the mindset of those around you. That is why great change often begins with a change in environment. Sometimes the simplest step toward happiness is removing yourself from the places that drain you and stepping into places that inspire you. Think of how a seed responds when placed in different soils. In barren ground it cannot grow, no matter how much potential it holds. In fertile ground it flourishes with little effort. You are that seed. Within you lies enormous potential for joy, resilience, and growth. But whether it flourishes depends greatly on the environment you allow yourself to stay in. The moment you place yourself in surroundings that encourage your growth, you will find it easier to remain happy even when life tests you. This is why pushing yourself to be happy is not only about what you think, but also about where you place yourself. Happiness is influenced by atmosphere. If you breathe in constant negativity, your spirit weakens. If you breathe in possibility, your spirit strengthens. And just as you would not willingly breathe in poison, you should not willingly breathe in the toxic energy of an environment that does not serve your higher self. Take control of this aspect of your life. Build circles of people who encourage, not discourage. Choose mentors through the books you read, the voices you listen to, the examples you follow. Create a physical space that uplifts you. A home, a workplace, even a small corner where you can retreat and recharge. Every detail matters. Every choice either builds your happiness or steals from it. And remember, you are also part of the environment for others. Your words, your energy, your actions, these shape the atmosphere for the people around you. When you choose to be a source of light, you not only protect your own joy, you multiply it in the lives of others. In doing so, you surround yourself with more positivity, for light attracts light. So if you desire to push yourself to be happy every day, even when life is hard, do not overlook the power of environment. Happiness grows where it is nurtured, and it withers where it is suffocated. Be deliberate. Protect your mind. Feed your soul. Build an environment that reflects the life you want, not the life you fear. When you do, you will find that happiness flows more naturally because you have given it the right ground to grow. Every struggle you face in life is not a curse, but a gift hidden in disguise.
The difficulty is that most people never take the time to look for the gift. They see the surface, the pain, the inconvenience, and they stop there. They do not push themselves far enough to discover that within every hardship lies a seed of growth. Happiness is not about avoiding struggles. It is about transforming them into stepping stones. It is about saying, I may not have chosen this challenge, but I will choose what I make of it. Think back to the hardest experiences of your life. In the moment they may have felt unbearable. You may have wished them away. You may have thought there was no possible reason such a thing could happen to you. Yet, with time and reflection, many of those very experiences became the foundation of your strength. You learned patience because something forced you to wait. You learned resilience because something forced you to stand tall. You learned gratitude because losing something taught you to value it. Each struggle carved wisdom into you that no easy day could have ever taught. Happiness does not come from escaping problems but from conquering them. The mountain climber is not joyful only when standing on the summit. He finds joy in the climb itself, in the burning muscles, in the challenge that demands everything from him. Why? Because the struggle is proof of growth. Every step forward in hardship is a step into a stronger self. The more you push against the weight of difficulty, the more strength you build. And that strength is what fuels lasting happiness. Do not confuse comfort with joy. Comfort is temporary. It can disappear in a moment when circumstances change, but joy that comes from overcoming struggle endures. When you push through, when you face the storm and come out on the other side, no one can take away the victory you have earned within yourself. That victory becomes part of your character. It becomes part of who you are, and it gives you confidence to face the next challenge with courage instead of fear. The truth is that most people waste their struggles. They complain about them, they resent them, they wish them away, and by doing so they miss the opportunity hidden inside. A problem is not just an obstacle, it is a teacher. It arrives to show you something about yourself, to reveal a weakness you must strengthen, or a truth you must accept. If you keep running from problems, they will keep returning in new forms until you learn the lesson they carry. But if you push yourself to embrace the lesson, the struggle becomes a stepping stone toward greater wisdom and greater happiness. Picture a sculptor working with a block of stone. At first, the stone looks rough, shapeless, and unremarkable, but with every strike of the chisel, pieces fall away. The sculptor does not cry over what is lost. He knows that every strike is bringing forth the masterpiece within. Life works the same way. Every hardship is a chisel strike, removing what no longer serves you, shaping you into the person you are meant to become. If you see only the pain of the strike, you will despair. But if you see the masterpiece being formed, you will find joy even in the process of being shaped. So when you encounter struggle, remind yourself, this is not here to destroy me. This is here to build me. This pain is not permanent. It is shaping me into someone stronger, wiser, more capable of living with joy. With that mindset, even the hardest moments carry a sense of meaning. You may still feel the pain, but it will not crush you. Instead, it will fuel you. And when you learn to turn struggles into stepping stones, you discover one of the greatest secrets of life. You realize that nothing has the power to rob you of happiness unless you give it permission. The world can test you, it can challenge you, it can shake you, but it cannot take away your will to rise. That will is your greatest weapon, and when you use it, you not only survive struggles, you thrive because of them. So never curse the challenges you face. Do not waste time wishing for an easier path. Wish instead for greater strength. Push yourself to see the opportunity within the obstacle, to see the lesson within the loss, to see the growth within the pain. Each time you do, you step higher on the ladder of happiness. Each time you transform a struggle into a stepping stone, you move closer to the unshakable joy that comes from knowing you are stronger than anything life can throw at you.
The happiness is not something that you achieve once and then keep forever without effort. It is not a permanent state that arrives one day and never leaves. Happiness is a decision, and it is a decision you must make every single day. Just as your body requires food each day to remain strong, your spirit requires choices each day to remain joyful. You cannot eat one meal and expect to be satisfied forever, and in the same way, you cannot make the decision to be happy once and believe it will carry you through life without renewal. Each morning you begin again. The first moments of your day set the tone for everything that follows. When you open your eyes, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to frustration, to worry, to dwelling on all that might go wrong. The other path leads to patience, gratitude, and peace. The decision you make in those first moments matters more than you realize. If you begin with complaints, the day will find more reasons to complain. But if you begin with a smile, with a thought of gratitude, you are sending a signal to your subconscious that happiness is the path you have chosen. From that decision, the rest of the day begins to shape itself. Of course, challenges will appear. No day is without them. But when you have already made the decision to be happy, those challenges do not shake you so easily. You respond to them differently. Instead of asking, why me, you ask, how can I grow from this? Instead of letting anger or fear take over, you steady yourself with patience. And when the challenge passes, as all challenges do, you are left with not only happiness but strength because you remained faithful to your decision even under pressure. Too often people surrender their happiness to circumstances. They say, I will be happy if the weather is good, if people treat me kindly, if my plans succeed. But notice how much power that gives away. It is like putting the key to your joy in the hands of the world and hoping it does not lose it. The world is unpredictable. People change, plans fail, storms come without warning. If your happiness depends on these things, you will live in constant disappointment. But if your happiness depends on your decision, then nothing outside of you can take it. The world may shift, but your choice remains firm. Think of happiness as a discipline of renewal. Each day you must water it. Each day you must feed it. Some days the effort feels natural, and some days it feels difficult. On the difficult days, when everything tempts you to give up and fall into negativity, that is when the discipline matters most. Because happiness is not proven when everything is easy. It is proven when life is heavy, and yet you still choose to lift your head, to smile, to carry on. That is where true power is built. Every decision you make throughout the day either strengthens or weakens your happiness. When someone offends you, you can choose to carry anger, or you can choose to let it go. When disappointment comes, you can choose to sink into bitterness, or you can choose to look for the lesson. These choices may seem small, but added together they determine whether you end the day with joy or despair. Do not overlook the power of small decisions, the smile you offer a stranger, the gratitude you whisper before sleep, the patience you show in traffic. These are not meaningless. They are daily exercises that keep the spirit healthy. The key is consistency. A single decision to be happy will not transform your life, but a daily decision, repeated over weeks and months, will change you at the core. It becomes a habit and eventually a part of your identity. You no longer have to think about it because your mind has been trained to see the good, to find meaning, to rise above negativity. Just as the body trained in discipline becomes strong without effort, the mind trained in happiness becomes joyful without strain. This is the path to freedom. When happiness becomes your daily decision, you are no longer controlled by life's ups and downs. You are steady. You are anchored. You live with a joy that is not shaken by storms because it comes from within, from a choice that no one else can make for you and no one else can take away. Each morning when you open your eyes, remind yourself, today I will be happy, not because life is perfect, but because I have chosen it. That decision, made again and again, is what allows you to master life instead of life mastering you.